type of king was Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 2 Kings on walking through the Bible. Today we're going to be discussing 2 Kings chapter 23, verses 31 to 37. Before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, turn to 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 1. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So 2 Kings chapter 23, beginning at verse 31. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he became king, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. Now Pharaoh Necho put him in prison at Riblah in the land of Hamath, that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and he imposed on the land a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. Then Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim the son of Josiah king in the place of his father Josiah, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Pharaoh took Jehoahaz and went to Egypt, and he died there. So Jehoiakim gave the silver and gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land to give money according to the command of Pharaoh. He exacted the silver and the gold from the people of the land, from every one according to his assessment, to give it to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zebudah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Rumah, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. Over the last few lessons, we had been looking at the reign of Josiah, the last righteous king of Judah. Josiah was righteous as his father David was righteous, meaning that not only was he righteous himself, but he brought the nation along with him, destroying all their idols, high places, and false worship that separated them from God. Josiah found a copy of and followed the law of Moses like no other king before him. And yet, in all of this, Judah was still going to be taken off into captivity. Why? Doesn't God accept repentance? He does, if it's genuine. And while Josiah's was genuine, it doesn't appear that Judah's was. How do I know? Because of what Judah did almost immediately after Josiah's death, which was return to her evil ways. Now you might say that happened after Hezekiah's death too, but Josiah had been the most righteous king in Judah. The writer of 2 Kings said so. And yet the next king of Israel, Jehoahaz, who just in passing is not related to the prophet Jeremiah, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, as were the final 3 kings of Judah that came after him. You might think that Jeremiah would have had an easier time prophesying to this people had there been many who desired to be righteous, but there were precious few, showing us that Judah's righteousness was outward in order to please the king. Their heart was really not changed, though. But following Josiah's death, Pharaoh headed north to help the Assyrians fight the Babylonians at Haran, while Judah made Jehoahaz the next king of Judah. It should be noted that Eliakim was actually the older brother, yet he was not originally made king upon his father's death. It should also be noted before continuing the battle that Pharaoh Necho was going up towards. In 2 Chronicles, this battle is referred to as the Battle of Carchemish. However, Jeremiah and secular history would correctly put this battle in 605 BC in the 4th year of Eliakim, king of Judah. Instead, Necho is going up to fight the Battle of Haran, which took place in 609 BC and fits perfectly with our chronology. Is 2 Chronicles wrong then? No, but we have to understand something about secular history here. The Assyrian Empire is dying. Nineveh had fallen in 612 BC, and the final ruler of Assyria, along with their army, fled to Haran. The Babylonians continued to attack, but it took 3 years for Haran to fall, and with it, the Assyrian Empire officially ended. However, Ashur-banipal II, the final Assyrian king, didn't die there, nor was the entire Assyrian army defeated, kicking off a 4-year struggle where Egypt, along with the remnant of the Assyrian army, tried to halt the Babylonian advances any further, and perhaps obtain victory where the Assyrians could return to power. This culminated with the Battle of Carchemish in 605 BC, with total victory of Nebuchadnezzar and defeat of Egypt, which led Egypt to no longer play a large role in the ancient Near East. So what 2 Chronicles is actually referring to, seeing as how this is written after the fact, is the entire multi-year struggle that culminated in Necho's defeat at Carchemish. But lest we think that we're trying to reinterpret the Bible so as to fit secular history, even the reading of 2 Kings 23 and 24 would support this view, for after only 3 months of Jehoahaz reigning in Jerusalem, Necho had him deposed. Now 2 Chronicles will make it clear that he didn't personally come down to do it, but sent a contingent of soldiers down to Jerusalem to depose Jehoahaz. Jehoahaz was then brought up to Hamath, a city about 320 kilometers or 200 miles north of Jerusalem in Syria. And it was there that Jehoahaz was put in prison during the year's battle with the Babylonians. And then, when the winter arrived, Necho and the Egyptian army would have returned home until the spring, and they brought Jehoahaz down with them to Egypt, where Jehoahaz remained until he died. If Necho had been defeated at Carchemish at this time, he would have not had the clout to either depose Jehoahaz or set up the next king of Judah and place it under tribute. But Necho did both of those things, showing us that his fight with the Babylonians was a multi-year struggle that ended with his defeat in 605 BC at the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, but that up until this time, he still had quite the sway in Judah following the death of Josiah. The king that Necho set up was the oldest surviving son of Josiah, Eliakim, whose name was changed to Jehoiakim. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned for 11 years in Jerusalem. But like with his brother, he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and so Judah's judgment would continue under his reign. We'll discuss more about Jehoiakim, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of 2 Kings chapter 24, verses 1 to 7, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.